Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Monday, July 14th, 2025. I am Bishop Terrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Now to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We produced the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. Pride Fete Diversity Pride in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale next February.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Queer God Squad wants you to know the story of a 5th century saint's queer romance. Historical evidence suggests that the 5th century Byzantine Emperor Theodosius II had a deep and possibly romantic connection to the eunuch Chysaphius. The explicit language used by ancient chroniclers describing Theodosius' love for Chysaphius and emphasizing his beauty is more direct than often found for other relationships of the time. A phrase found repeatedly is, Theodosius loved a certain Chysaphius, for he was endowed with exceptional beauty. As a eunuch, Chysaphius was already degendered or regendered by the thinking of the time and was seen as beautiful, possibly feminine. That an emperor was enamored of him makes for the possibility of a homoerotic relationship. Theodosius was married with children, but bisexuality was not uncommon or unknown, nor was it as stigmatized as it has been in our culture. A bisexual man with a non-binary queer person or even a transgender woman, that language was not available to them, but it is available to us, and we know what such relationships look like. Additionally, Chysaphius was not held in high regard at court. He was called malicious, politically ambitious, a climber, and even a heretic. Was that just jealousy because he had the emperor's favor and therefore a certain degree of influence with the emperor? Or could it also be that eunuchs were queer figures who were othered, and he, or she, or they, were simply the victim of prejudice? It is interesting to note that Emperor Theodosius II is a saint in the Eastern Orthodox Church. His lover Chysaphius is not. For obvious reasons, modern historians and LGBTQ plus affirming scholars interpret the relationship of Theodosius and Chysaphius as being within the spectrum of what we today would call queer. This shows, and we show this every week, that queer people have existed in every time and every culture. They're history makers. And a lot of it is coded. So whenever you see eunuch already, this is a different type of person. This is a person who is treated as if they are a different gender or as if if they are meant to be bisexual. They were often sexualized because being neutered, as it were, they couldn't get anyone pregnant. And so they were safe to be around women, because if even something happened, there'd be no children from it. And they were more worried about that than, oh, you broke your promise or you were attracted to someone else. That was not so much an issue in antiquity, but that you brought some other man's child up in here to share in the inheritance, that was not okay.
Ho, ho, ho.
And so eunuchs were safe. And so eunuchs could be around women, but because if they were made a eunuch very young, they might have never developed masculine features, so they might be very feminine, very pretty. Well, they could be used by men for that reason too. So they were often sexualized. And because they were sexualized, they were often, it was considered, since they can do so many things, they must be wanting to do so many things. They must be out there just trying to get people to do all these things with them. And so they were overly sexualized. Well, that's a very queer experience, isn't it? Where people are defined by their genitalia or by their sex life, and then judged by the definition that other people imposed on you. So whenever you see eunuchs, you were seeing queer figures in history. Whether or not, whatever their orientation was, the idea of orientation was not part of the conversation in those days. So it didn't even matter if they were innately queer, if they were innately bisexual or gay or trans. It didn't matter. They were their own thing. They were sexualized, they were othered, they were judged. They had a queer experience of their own. And so whenever you see in antiquity these stories about eunuchs, you were being invited into a queer world, or to see history through a queer lens. And so, yeah, one more time, another queer in history. And not just because that this person was a eunuch, but actually then apparently did have a loving relationship. How physical it was, who knows? Who cares?
Right.
No two couples have the exact same way of expressing intimacy anyway. But that he was enamored of this person, called this person beautiful, allowed this person to do things that got a lot of criticism, but he had the emperor's protection. That's probably more than a buddy. That's almost certainly a lovely. Now they call him a heretic, and he officially was. There's a lot of doctrines hammered out by councils, and then whenever they decide that's the way it is, if you don't toe the party line, you're a heretic. Mm-hmm. It's a silly thing. And whenever anyone accuses anyone of heresy in the 21st century, I laugh. What a silly, ridiculous thing to say, I had a thought that didn't match your thought, so now I'm a bad guy. No, don't be silly, don't be ridiculous. But in the 5th century, that was a thing. And the councils had hammered out that Jesus somehow was uniquely, but entirely, both human and divine. I would be a heretic because I think Jesus is no more divine than we are, which isn't to say he's not divine, and maybe he's the example of what a person in their divinity looks like. But I don't believe Jesus is any more divine than the rest of us, so I have a very human Jesus. Well, that would be a heresy, because Jesus is both human and divine, said some white guys around a table who thought the world was flat. And so this eunuch, he was on the opposite end of things. He thought Jesus was only divine, just deity pretending to be human, which is what mainline Christians act like they believe to this day. But that was so they called him a heretic. Now, why did they care that an enslaved eunuch, what his faith was? Because he had influence over the emperor. Now, how does he have such influence? Well, lovers often do. And so, love that little story about. And a lot of people haven't heard this story, maybe because it's from the Eastern tradition, but he is an official, Theodosius, an official saint in the Eastern Orthodox Church.
What a fabulous queer story. Isn't that wonderful? And when people tell you that queer people never existed back then, you just share stories like this, because there it is right there. We've always been around, and part of religious communities too. So that's a big deal. That's not something that you might expect, but they've been around forever and part of religious communities.
That's one of the things that interests me, how we can trace our past back to the dawn of time. And unfortunately, we can trace much of our problems to the advent of so-called Christianity. To me, that this is just my opinion. I'm not worried about what other people think, but if you look at it, if in the Bible you have stories of same-sex relationships that are clearly delineated, and you do. If this is true, and it is, then when did we start saying that it's not right to be queer, that there's a problem with being queer? And I will always be a heretic if that's what it means to the church. I remember in one of my schools, my classmates, when I got there, looked at me and said, how is this queer child think that he is going to be a minister, a pastor, sharing the word with folks? And I've shared it before. By the end of the time that I was with my cohort, they were coming to me for answers to questions that they had never considered. So sometimes it's good to be a heretic. Sometimes it's good to rock the boat.
I love these stories as well, because it really does give you a glimpse back in time. And when you sit on the peripheral and you listen to the story being read, you can I kind of see myself floating around the characters of the story, like, oh, I could see that, and the impact that the conversation that these two might have had that really may have even changed the course of history based on this relationship, based on the pillow talk that they had at night. And I think it's just one of those unique reminders, again, as Reverend Kevin said, that we were there from the beginning of time. I like to think that we were there from the moment it was spoken, let us. And how queer is that? from the Bible.
Yeah.
Let us.
Let us.
And so I think this is one of those let us reminders that we are still here and we were there as a part of this time, this period in time. And what grew out of that may be examples to others to lead their lives as openly, as publicly as they possibly could, making a difference in someone else's life as well.
Yeah.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral for a wonderful travel experience and help our mission for our community. Join Divine Science Everywhere for 5 days cruise aboard MSC Seashore, starting at just $299. Departing on November 2nd, 2025, this all-inclusive getaway features free bus transfers from Ocala, the Villages, and Leesburg, plus free Wi-Fi throughout your journey. Enjoy open bar access for only $99. You'll explore Nassau and Paradise Island, the Bahamas, and relax on MSC's exclusive island, Ocean Cay Marine Reserve. Special perks from the Happening Out Travel Club include private happy hours and exclusive dining events.
If you haven't heard of Divine Science, you have heard of what it's about. If you like Oprah and Chopra, Louise Hay and Michael Beckwith, spirituality that's based on love rather than dogma, or you're familiar with Silent Unity and the Daily Word, or the progressive, positive, practical spirituality of the Sunshine Cathedral community, then you already have a pretty good understanding of Divine Science, a New Thought school of thought that has been around since 1888.
You can book your spot with a $199 deposit. This nonprofit 501c3 trip is provided at reduced prices because of the charity fundraising educational mission of the Travel Club. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun, connection, and spiritual renewal. For more information or to reserve your spot, visit divinesciencefederation.org and click Events.
Get ready for an incredible journey on the Ultra Deluxe MSC Seashore. This 170,000-ton, $1 billion ship offers 5-day cruises from just $299. With free transfers from Ocala, the Villages, and Leesburg, getting to Port Canaveral is easy and convenient for you. There is more. You can upgrade the experience with our $99 open bar package and enjoy unlimited drinks, cocktails, coffee, and more for not one, not two, but every day of your cruise. Your special Travel Club package also includes free Wi-Fi. This MSC Seashore cruise will take you to Nassau and Paradise Island. You also enjoy the pristine beauty of Ocean Cay Marine Reserve, the world's top-rated private island experience. It's a slice of paradise waiting for you. Plus, your open bar access extends to the exclusive Ocean Cay Island too. So, if you dream of sipping on drinks and unwinding on stunning beaches, this is the day for you. When you purchase the $99 bar package, you also receive complimentary Wi-Fi for all 5 days, so that you can share every unforgettable moment with ease with the world. You'll also enjoy exclusive onboard events with fellow travelers, from private happy hours to special dinners. It's all included just for you. Last but not least is the ease of booking this trip. You can secure your spot with just $199 deposit and then pay just $49 a month. Why wait? Book your cruise today for the adventure of a lifetime. Call today to book your dream journey on the MSC Seashore Cruise.
I invite you to share this episode on your social media, and I also welcome you to find Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our Bishop's page on Facebook. My page is Bishop Robert Griffin, D-Men, and Darrell's is Bishop Darrell Watkins, D-Men. We're also on TikTok. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will also find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Darrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together. And also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.